Hey everybody. Just checking that you all can hear me. If you could give me a thumbs up or a nod. Awesome. All right. Well, welcome to our Green School Open Day. I'm Soon. I'm a year 13 here at Green School. A little bit about me. I moved here from the US, from Seattle in 2022. So I began my Green School journey as a year 10 student at school. But before we get started, I'll open with a karakia, which is a Modi prayer. So, Wakatakateo ki te uru, Wakatakateo ki te tonga, kia ma kina kina kiuta, kia ma tara tara ki tai, e hia ke ana te atakura, e tio, e huka, e hohu, tihei Modi ora. And now, if you please enjoy this video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back at the end of the virtual tour for a little Q&A, but without further ado, I'd like to introduce our head of school, Matua Nigel.
Excellent. Thank you, Soon. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. First of all, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for your time. We promise you an interesting, action-packed afternoon. So my name is Nigel Barrett, so I'm head of campus. I'll just start with a little bit about myself. So I am originally from New Zealand. I left here in 1998 to go overseas just for a couple of years, but discovered the world of international education. And that's where I discovered a real passion for working in places where we can be innovative and amazing settings and just keep the children at the center of everything we do. And I was always looking for a way back into New Zealand, and this job came up and that pulled me straight back here. So it's absolutely fantastic to be here, just in an environment where we're pushing the boundaries of education in an incredible setting. We're going to work through a bit of a program where we tell you a bit more about the school, about the architect, about the curriculum, and you'll hear from some past students and some parents. We should cover all the bases, and if we don't, we've got a Q&A at the end, and you'll get to answer any specific questions then. But first of all, so Green School New Zealand, you know that we're part of a global movement. So there's 3 green schools around the world, all just, working on regenerative education in amazing settings. We do work closely together on certain programs, but then we're quite individual to where we are in the world as well. We're the only destination school in New Zealand. We have about approximately 50% international families who come here specifically for the school, and then about 50% from New Zealand. So we're just going to start with a video that's just going to show you a bit more about the global green school, so a bit about us and Bali, and you'll see how we work together.
Right now, my footprint may be small, but with every new step, I grow. At a place where I feel happy, together with my friends. I learn about how and how everything breathes. Curious about everything around me. I understand that if you grow an idea together, you can harvest fruits that can be enjoyed by all.
Achieving a common goal, learning lessons out of losses, and sharing joy in the victories.
All that I'm learning creates beautiful memories that I will take with me on my journey
I am encouraged to speak up for myself when I'm able, and stand up for others when they are not.
I am passionate about creating a better tomorrow, innovating and inspiring new ways of thinking.
I'm preparing myself for my future today, achieving the goals that I have set, and using my heart, passion, and purpose as a compass towards the great unknown.
Embracing the world and all that life has to offer at a place we call our own, becoming global change makers and completing our journey together.
So as you see, just a taste there of our international connections, a bigger vision of the whole world of change makers. But from my side, it's all about bringing the experts and telling you the story of the whole school so that you can see what an incredible story it is. And then what a great part if you could be part of it as well. So I've asked in today our two founders, so Michael and Rachel, so they're going to come and join you here. And they're just going to take you through the architecture of the classrooms. So it is a beautiful place, and we know they can have a beautiful place, but what's happening inside is amazing as well. But let them tell you a bit about their story and how we got to where we are today. And by the way, it's not a green screen behind me. This is just the campus. You'll see the children moving around. It is this beautiful, and it is a great place to be. So I'm going to hand over to Michael and Rachel, and they're going to take you of a little bit of a virtual tour of different parts of the campus. Over to you two.
Thank you so much, Nigel. Welcome everybody to Green School, our virtual tour. Thank you very much for your patience and your interest.
Kia ora koutou, ko Rachel. Welcome everyone, I'm Rachel.
And what we would like to do is speak to the images that you're currently looking at. So this is a place on campus that we refer to as Compass Hill. And we're currently looking northwest to the ocean. And up at this elevated location, you can see the entire campus. And we're probably turning around to a really low view of it, but the children can sit on the grassy knoll that you can see there, and take shelter and see the entire campus. The view further east is of our 3 classroom pods or waka. And those waka are intentionally borrowing from nature. You can see this biomimicry in almost every building that you see on campus. And from here, we can swing around and see the areas that we've reforested. There's tens of thousands of native plants and shrubs and trees. And often I reflect on the fact that we don't have to read about endangered or rare species. We can actually find them on our campus. So from the 360 view that everyone is most welcome to refer to at a later time on our website, you can see that we also have a view of our Mount Taranaki, and we have our experiences in and around the ranges, but a high school diploma actually finds the learner summiting the mountain in term 1 of the year 13. So a really significant milestone. There's wild environments on campus and further afield, but we very proudly neighbour the Kaitaki Ranges that we're currently swinging around to. And in the Kaitaki we have Kiwi and an enormously successful program run by local groups and actually a few of our students and staff members. So we have the opportunity to locate kiwi in the bush that you can see, and we can locate them with telemetry or with an aerial and collect data on their movements. So it's amazing for Rachel and I to have a school campus that neighbours a regenerative kiwi forest, and that progress is staggering. And then down from the forest line, you can see our river or our swimming pool, and there's a world of opportunities there for learning and enjoyment and joy. And we have our classes down in amongst the bush next to the river, and we're often looking at the river and testing the water quality and looking into species and protecting it via riparian planting throughout our entire 121 acre farm. So that's a circuit of the whole campus from a 360 degree view from Campus Hill. We can now perhaps move on to the waka, a closer look. So these are the buildings that I referred to in the distance that are shaped like a pod or a capsule of some description. Waka, meaning, if you like, vessel, are carrying the students along on their learning journeys. And these buildings emerge from a lush, beautiful campus, and they are our community's pride and joy. We assemble in these buildings quite often. So you're looking at intentional architecture, conscious construction. This is a real example of reduce, reuse. These buildings are encapsulating our learners, protecting them, embracing them, if you like, and they have outperformed our wildest dreams. 0 to minimal waste per building, and they were delivered on time by local contractors. As you can see, they wrap around the learners. They're very authentic, and they encapsulate our values and our learning compass is manifested for critique. That is, the children can look around and see examples of what we're learning and change occurring before them. We trust our children as well. There's no graffiti or intentional scratches or markings on these buildings. As a matter of fact, I often joke that just behind this waka there's a skate ramp, and it's the only skate ramp I've ever seen without any graffiti on it. And so outside this building we have a flying fox, a quarter pipe skate ramp, and a pump track. So we're referring to that area as an adventure park. We're looking forward to hosting you in person so that you can feel these buildings, experience them themselves. These are old videos, so whilst they are placed in a rather a pasture background here, we now have trees popping up all around the campus, and for example the curved window that you're looking at right there has a stand of native trees in front of it now, and the plantings are thriving. And then we have one more little look, if you like, at another building on campus. The Kinner, we might have a JPEG of that particular building, but whilst we find that, the children and parents love this building, and it performs perfectly. We have a few challenges in making it a circular building, and just so that you know, we also created this building as twice the local code requirements for thermal insulation and heating, cooling, and air quality. We have very, very high levels of mechanical air handling inside these buildings, but they perform very, very well in that they can open from both sides. So this building, the Kinner, for our international guests, it's segmented very similar to a sea urchin, and those segments allow individual teachers and learners to customize their learning environment. You still might find a teacher's desk at the front door of a room. You might find it in the back corner, and you might find a more relaxed lounge environment. It all depends on how the individual teachers have chosen to set up their learning spaces. The cost of these buildings isn't necessarily prohibitive. They're not as difficult to resolve issues as perhaps one would think looking straight at it, although we did incorporate chain rainwater downpipes, and they are problematic. Simply, they don't work. And so, we're still learning in this building, and it still changes with the school. So these buildings were completed on budget and on time, and they attract visitors from all around the world. Our community is very pleased with creating this taonga, this treasure in Taranaki, and we're very excited about the future for all of our community and this campus, which continues to grow every single day. Thank you.
Yeah, and just a little note to add, you can see down on the picture on the bottom left-hand screen as well with the lining of the kina there, and there's some very special acoustic technology in behind that we have used. So as well as using state-of-the-art technology.
That's our school bell. Yeah, we would have definitely enjoy a little bit of music. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So each bell is a different tune, and yeah, as you can see, it's unpredictable and unstoppable even when we're going live.
And we also have some buildings on site that are from reused or upcycled from the Christchurch container mall. So they're all containers, which you can see behind us here. So they're in their third life. First, there's a shipping container. Then as the Christchurch recovered from their dramatic earthquakes, and then they came up here to also be some of our staff room. We've got one down at the river for a river classroom. And so we're also in the space here, so our kitchen is based in one of them. So thank you very much. We look forward to perhaps hosting you on site one day soon, but I'll pass you back to Nigel, and you can start hearing about our curriculum and pedagogy. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. See you all soon.
Great. Thank you, Michael and Rachel. Thanks, everyone. So that important background. I mean, also about Michael and Rachel, you've got two entrepreneurs who went overseas. They've got children themselves, so their parents themselves, Will, who's graduated, and two girls in the school. And they went looking for something new and more child-centered and relating to the world, and they've brought it back here into New Zealand and worked through this project. So if you really want change makers as role models for your children, then our owners who come in and do quite a lot with the children as well. So it's fantastic to have this. I think that's one of my parts as a leader of the school. So as I said briefly before, I've been lucky enough to work overseas. I've worked in 6 different countries. I've worked across IB curriculum, national curriculum of England, America, worked on the continent of Africa and Asia and bilingual schools. And just to come in and be in an educational environment where you're challenging the norm, you're keeping children at the centre, and we've got leeway with the curriculum. So we really keep that academic rigour, keep the children at the centre, the well-being is so important and within the setting. But as a leader, it's all about, for me, surrounding yourself with absolute experts. So just one example I love is our elective on Monday that I get to teach with year 12 and 13s. We go up to the greenhouse and we have Michael Graham, who runs the greenhouse up there. So he's retired, but he has a degree in horticulture, and he comes and works with the children the whole time. And then on Thursday, they bring their produce down to the kitchen and they work with Jeff, who's one of our teachers, but he was also a chef for 20 years. So having those kind of people having an impact on the children all across the campus, whether teaching, whether on the front desk, is something we really work hard for and work towards. And just because everybody the children come across on campus influences them as people and as learners. So that's why, in terms of a setup at the school, so you have me as head of campus, and then we have 3 heads of learning neighbourhoods. So we have Mātua Nick, who leads the primary school. We have Mātua Charlie, who leads our middle school, which is year 7, 8, and 9. And then we have Mātua Sal, who leads the high school. So what I'm going to do next is give each of them 10 to 15 minutes to come and talk to you and just talk through their part of the school, a bit more about themselves, the curriculum, their team, show you a short video, and then we would have covered all the different aspects of the curriculum. So first, I'm going to welcome in Mātua Nick, who's going to come and join us, and I'll hand over, and I'll just be firing a couple of questions at him from behind the computer. And then, like I say, we'll still got Q&A at the end if we don't answer everything that you want to know. So Nick, over to you. Here you go.
Hi, everybody.
So thanks for joining us, Nick. So what if we just start with the first bit about yourself personally and professionally?
All right, well, if it's okay, I'll start with pepeha, which is the Māori way of introducing yourself. So bear with me, I'll explain in English what it is afterwards. So ko taranaki te maunga, ko manga otoku, o ko huatoki te awa, ko Noel taku matua, ko Karen toku whaia, ko Nick Rowe toku ingoa. My name's Nick Rowe, and I just explained kind of who I am and how I kind of fit into the piece in a traditional way by explaining the mountain I identify with, the rivers I identify with, and who my parents are. And if we had a bit more time, I'd probably go back and explain my grandparents, so my ancestors, so how I fit into this piece. And yeah, it's great that I mentioned Taranaki Maunga, and there's Taranaki Maunga there, our local mountain, who's just been given his own identity. So that's pretty amazing. And I think you probably would have seen that internationals on the news. So that's one thing that we're really proud of, and that sets New Zealand apart. But that just shows how much we value the whenua, the land here in Taranaki, in Aotearoa in New Zealand. Yeah, personally, so I'm Taranaki born and bred, but like a lot of the staff, I've travelled and taught internationally, and then yeah, wasn't really sure if there'd ever be an international school I'd want to apply for in New Zealand, yet alone in my hometown, and that's exactly what's ended up happening. So couldn't be happier about that. Married to Whaia Charlie, who you'll meet next. She's the head of middle school. And we have 3 kids, and that we're lucky that they all get to attend this wonderful organisation. So I've got a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and only the 10-year-old's left with me in primary school. As I said, well-travelled. We spent a lot of our time abroad at the beginning of our career and travelled to 30 different countries. So I bring that experience of the world here to home. Professionally, I earned my teaching degree in one of the local universities here, and then registered locally in Taranaki, and then went away, like a lot of Kiwis did, over to London, did 2 years over there. And then we decided to get a little more exotic, and certainly was, because Charlie and I ran the first British International School in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. So that was learning growth was like that. And we reran the show there eventually, so that was cool. We came home, had our second child, and then we still had a thirst for international teaching. So we applied for and were accepted to go to one of the biggest British international schools in the Middle East, and that was in Cairo. And that was great. So we spent 9 years there. We were due to go to a startup school in Malaysia, in Penang, and then COVID came along and ruined those plans. But that meant we were able to come back home to Taranaki. And whilst we were here, we kind of got our foot in the door at Green School, and the rest is history. And needless to say, we never made it to Malaysia. I am the head of primary, as Matua Nigel has introduced me. I'm also the global citizenship and sustainability leader here at Green School. So a little bit about the primary program that we're super proud of. First and foremost, we have Taurumaki, which is nature immersion. And that means that on every Wednesday, rain or shine, we all, from lower primary to middle primary, spend the day out in the bush. We had a particularly rainy one just last Wednesday. So we spent some time in our fern whare, as we call it, which is our nature classroom, our bush classroom. But it was even a bit wet for there, so we ended up in the tropical house. But on a brighter day, we'll be out tramping around this wonderful campus, from the wetland to the bush, down to the river, and we've even been swimming in the swimming hole in the river as part of our weekly PE, which we do on our nature day. It's not just about the experiences, it's explicit nature immersion education. I firmly believe that all kids, all of us, kind of lost our connection a bit with nature, but it's still there, it's innately within us. And one of my favorite things to do that I've developed over my teaching career is to help children to rediscover that, because it's inside all of us. And I think now more than ever, we need to have that connection. And I've seen many, many times kids that need that little bit of self-regulation, but they can't necessarily find it. They can benefit from spending time in nature, but it has to kind of be taught explicitly. So we have 4 terms in the at school here in New Zealand, and the first one's Awakening Sensory Awareness. So I'm telling you about the nature immersion curriculum now. So the term 1, which we're currently doing, Awakening Sensory Awareness, because the first thing, if they're going to love nature, they have to notice it. And a lot of kids these days just walk through looking for the end, waiting maybe to get home and get in front of another screen, right? So they really have to notice the details around them. So an intentional question we often ask is, what do you notice? Not what do you see, what do you smell, what do you notice and hear, what kind of responses we get from the kids, what kind of senses are they using? And we can name them thereafter. But what do you notice? So Awakening Sensory Awareness. Next term is Cultivating Knowledge of Place. So we'll be walking around the campus and we're going to be naming different parts of the campus that aren't already named and just really getting to know the different areas. Third is Traditional Skills and Crafts. So we'll be doing some foraging. We'll be doing some traditional activities that Māori would do, benefit from the ancient knowledge here, but also some ancient knowledge from Australia, where we might do some journey sticks, and even from North America. So that's Traditional Skills and Crafts. And the fourth one is Restoring the Bond Between Humans and Nature. So that's our program for a nature immersion, and it's pretty epic. So that's nature immersion. Then we've got, of course, we need to have, if we're going to have change makers for tomorrow, they need to be literate. They need to have good skills in math. So we also, the yin to the yang is we also have a strong emphasis on our proficiencies. So that's reading, writing, and math, and we're pretty proud of our program there. We deliver it in innovative ways, and we're looking at the best. Because we're not bound to the New Zealand curriculum, we're not bound necessarily to what schools down the road are doing. So we look internationally for best practice and what practice in particular would suit our student cohort. So definitely a strong proficiency program. And we've got an enriching diverse curriculum I wanted to talk to you about. So we've got, outside of proficiencies, we've got Voyage. So that's kind of everything else. So it's our science, it's our technology. And of course, we bring in our maths and our literacy skills into those parts of the program. We have arts lessons, we have music lessons and dedicated classes with top teachers. We have a Hikoi program which runs through the school. Hikoi is our outdoor education program. So right now, my daughter that I mentioned before is up in those hills. See the mountains, see the ranges in front? She's up in there. She's at an overnight camp up in the ranges with Matua Damien, who's our Hikoi expert. So it's just wonderful, the experiences the kids get to have here. And the last one I want to talk to you about was Awahatia, which is like passion learning. And so every term we put on at least 4 in the primary school different electives that kids can opt into. So currently we've got a choir, we've got kids playing nature games. A lot of the younger ones have done that. Another group of kids are doing like a wheels. So Monday, we've got a specialist coming in teaching skateboarding. So they're all excited that they're bringing their skateboards in. They've designed a bike track and they've done some biking around campus. And the fourth one is weaving. So we've been doing some weaving with Whaia Sarah, our art specialist, over in the art room. So that's just one little snippet of Awahatia. That's when Nigel said I should also talk to you about our team. So I'm really proud that this year we're up to 4 primary teachers because everyone knows the best way to grow a school, of course, is to have more primary learners. So we're delighted that we've got an influx of students, of pupils in the lower primary. So Whaia is an experienced Australian-born teacher. She's a talented teacher. She's very arty. She loves her music. She's a singer. She's a crafter. And she's really passionate about teaching proficiencies and teaching the proficiencies in innovative ways. And all these teachers I'm going to tell you are 100% mission aligned. They're all-rounders and they're really dedicated to the kids. So they never make a decision. And the decisions we make are always with the children that we teach in mind at the forefront. And she's a very strong cross-curricular teacher. Whaia Kelly joined us a few years back. She plied her trade in the mountains of Colorado before she came here. She gravitated sort of towards us and started as a relief teacher, and she was magnificent, and we thought we have to get this lady on board, and at the earliest opportunity she did just that. So that's Fire Kelly. And then, as I said, we've got an influx of young learners. So what we've decided to do is got a mirror class from year 0 to year 2, and so Fire Kelly is working opposite Fire Haley. Fire Haley has been on staff. She's an OG, but she's now on staff as a full-time teacher, and she's also another one that's passionate about proficiencies, but also about nature play and sustainability. So that's Fire Haley. And then we've got a wonderful team of support crew. We've got our TAs. We've got Marcela from Chile, Spanish speaker, and learning support is her thing. We've got Elijah, who's a Kiwi. He's a musician. And a big gardening enthusiast who helps us on Tairumaki those days when we're in nature all day. We've got Fire Penny. She's a local, she's a parent, and she's really great at supporting individuals and groups and helping them to achieve. Our program, I wanted to go back to one thing because I forgot to say about our camps. So I mentioned my eldest daughter up there in the ranges at the minute, but I need to talk to you about camps specific to primary school. So I'm teaching year 3 and year 4, and in May, so coming up before too long, we've got Eco Camp, which is a camp that we do with our sister schools, EIM schools over in Southeast Asia. So we connect with them and we have a similar topic, and it's wonderful for them to see, like you are now, what's happening outside our window, and we get to see what's happening outside their very often very urban window and make comparisons. Year 5 and 6 have a camp at the beginning of the year to get to know each other and talk about leadership and being what it means to be at the top of the primary school ladder. And they also have a Crossing the Bridge, very intentional camp near the end of the year for the year 6s to talk about their journey as they jump over into middle school, and more from Fire Charlie in middle school pretty shortly. Just about our overall ethos, my final thing to share. All learning in the primary school is real, R-E-A-L. It's relationship based. It's experiential. There's experiences. It's there's 2 for this, action oriented, but I like authentic. There's an authentic reason to do something. We don't do it because it's on page 386 and we did 385 yesterday. We do it because it's an authentic learning opportunity, and local to global. So we start off locally, and then as our knowledge gets greater, we extend and we go global. Our philosophy is very skills and values based. So our I respect values are at the forefront of just about everything we do. So that's integrity, responsibility, equity, sustainability, peace, empathy, community, and trust. And those are more than just words. You can see how easily I can rattle them off. They are ingrained, and that's what those 8 values are ingrained in our students too. Last thing I want to talk about is our capstone for primary school. So you'll hear more about capstones if you haven't already researched them. And our capstone for primary school at the end of year 6 is called Footprints. Wonderful, wonderful projects, some of which last so long. I walked out on one just before a wetlands walk project where a new pathway was put into school to encourage people to integrate and relate to nature on the way in or out of school. So that's one that's had a lasting effect for 4 years, I think now. So a Footprints project is where the kids look deep inside and find something that they're really passionate about and how they're going to make a change, either in terms of sustainability or in terms of well-being. And then they do a local small-scale project to work on it. Right, I think that's me. So I believe we're going to see a short video now, and then that's going to be, we're pretty proud of this one. It was just aired on the local TV show that I've been watching since I was a kid. So it's called What Now? And it's a Kiwi institution, and we were asked to feature on the show. And so we put together a little piece about Rumaki Taio Rumaki, our nature immersion. So I'm pretty sure someone's about to hit play, and you'll see that. And then afterwards, you'll be hearing from Fire Charlie. Ka kite anō. See you again.
We're from Green School, and this is our Gordan. love free play! We're on a boundary walk on Nature Day. At Green School, we do Whitley. We have glowworms in Green School. If you come here, you might find some. I can show you some now, because it's daytime.
So we get to light fires here at Green School.
At Green School, we light fires to cook food at Fan Funny. Because I watch my daddy get this food from our garden and we cook with it.
Then you give Jenna a chance too. It's going to be your first try.
For now, you've finished your part of the prep. Thank you so much.
Can you tell me when you need me?
Yeah.
On TV.
Okay.
In the blue.
Did you have a spoon, Tom?
Yes.
Thank you, Tom. You are so welcome. Enjoy.
And we get to swim in our swimming pool.
Kia ora koutou, ko Charlie toku ingoa. My name is Charlie Maddox, and I am delighted to be here to talk to you about our middle school program here at Green School New Zealand. I'm really intrigued at where you all are in the world and what brings you to connect with us today. So it'd be wonderful if you could pop in the chat and let us know where you are, and I'll connect with that later. So just like Nick, I would like to start with a little bit about myself. I am mum of 3. You've heard about my 3 children already, and I grew up here in New Plymouth. I always felt a calling to be a teacher from very young. I can remember being 5 years old and wanting to have a filing cabinet and a register that I could tick myself. And I'm pleased to let you know that my dreams have come true. I never really wavered from my calling to be a teacher. I went straight from school to Teachers College here in New Zealand, and I did a diploma in primary teaching and a Bachelor of Education at Massey University. It was there that my love of the transitions in life started, and I spent a lot of time working in early childhood development and also the middle years, which are those years as children move from their childhood into their adulthood. And so when I graduated, I returned to the intermediate school that I had been at when I was a child, and I started my career there. I did 3 years at that local school, and my calling really was to return to the place in education where I felt most happiest and fulfilled. So it's no surprise that my career has drawn me back to leadership within these middle year spaces. My trajectory hasn't just been in New Zealand. I felt the call to go and live overseas in my early 20s after I had finished my beginning teaching role at the intermediate school here in town. And I thought I was just going to go for 2 years and have a little experience and see a bit of the world and then head back down here to New Zealand. And as most of you will know, life had other ideas for me and put Egypt in my path. A holiday to have Christmas at the pyramids and travelling along the Nile led to a love for Egypt, ancient Egypt, contemporary Egypt, the chaos, the beauty, the history, the nature. all of it, and an opportunity to found a British school in Egypt. It was a really, really interesting journey, and we don't even have time for me to go into that. But if you come and tap me on the shoulder here on campus, I'll tell you that story. So that was a 5-year journey building the international school, and along the way starting my family, my journey into motherhood as well. Then moving to a really, really big and established international school in Cairo. And that experience really taught me a lot about movement between curriculums and flexibility within the local context. So getting the best out of wherever we are for our learners in the context that they are in. I felt called to give back and did 3 years of service in NGOs, working with less fortunate people in Egypt and integrating into their communities sustainable solutions to their poverty-based problems. And that was a real gift. I felt at that time that maybe I was done with education in a traditional mainstream sense. I felt disillusioned with the academic focus on results only, and the results driving what was happening right down into the early years. I moved down into teaching the youngest learners possible, because I could see that it was felt that that wasn't so important, and we could still be creative and really connect with the learners without the pressure of making sure that they could achieve certain things at 4 in order to achieve certain things at 5, in order to achieve certain things at 6, so that they could put something on their transcript at the end of high school. But you know my story, so life put in my path Green School New Zealand. And it was the experience of setting foot here that healed me as a professional. I actually volunteered to come back here. There wasn't a job at the time that I landed here in New Zealand, and I felt so connected with this place that I said that I would come and actually build the Nature Day program, which Nick spoke to you about and you saw the video of before. Well, that didn't last long. I stepped into the classroom and stepped into really building our middle school up here. It's really interesting to me because I can see a pattern of those transitions in life really being the place where I feel most passionate. So the early years, the middle years, I've retrained as a hypnobirthing educator. So that period of motherhood and fatherhood and going into parenthood. And at the moment with the middle school, what we're really focusing on here is bridging that gap. Our phrase here, our metaphor to describe what we do is crossing the bridge. So our learners here at Green School New Zealand are supported to cross the bridge from primary into high school. They're supported to cross the bridge from their childhood into their young adulthood. And that's why we keep years 7, 8 and 9 together. Traditionally in New Zealand, year 9 would be the youngest in high school and working with the 17-year-olds and being socially engaged with the older learners who are about to graduate. We find that having our year 9s as they broach the years of 13 and 14, to have them with the middle school and allow them to be the biggest and to grow as leaders within that age range, really, I hand on heart believe they graduate our middle school the most confident and self-assured young people of their age that I know. So within the program, how do we do that? Well, we really focus on building relationships. So it's all rooted in this hasn't come out of my head. This is ancient knowledge. This is traditional knowledge. This is current research. This is neuroscience. This is educational pedagogy. This is what we as human beings know about that special time from around 10, 11 to 13, 14. It's a time when our young people are figuring out how they are going to interact and be with one another and themselves for that period where we are their elders. So all those norms and ways of being are being developed now, just as they were developed when they were toddlers and going from their babyhood into their childhood. It's a period of immense growth physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as you know, if you have children or if you work with children of this age group. So relationships are super important. We have anchor teachers who connect with our learners each morning on a daily basis at homeroom time. And then we have dedicated, we call them cocoon sessions. So those smaller groups where the anchor teacher and the small group of learners will explore our well-being curriculum and really develop trusting relationships, the ability to be vulnerable, the ability to share with one another. This term we're focusing on active listening. So the ability to be in the moment and listen to someone else and not be worried about what you're going to say. I know I do this as an adult. I'm not really listening. I'm rehearsing in my head what I'm going to share. So what a skill if our young people can learn that. I'll give you an example of something that we're working on in Cocoon at the moment, which is each learner having an all about me profile. And it has what you would expect, their name, a bit about their family, their passions and interests, maybe where they've come from in the world, cultures that they connect with. But it also has in it how other people can support me. So, for example, I find it really distracting when the class is loud, or I find it really difficult when the teacher gives 5 instructions verbally. In order to support me, 3 instructions is the optimum, and please make sure they're written on the board. Also, learners feel confident to share the challenges that they're having. So, for example, when I look upset, it's actually that I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't need anyone to make me feel better. I just appreciate someone sitting next to me. And our learners do share those things. So you get a little taster of what the environment is like here, that we're creating, the safe space that we're creating for these young people. This is all underpinned, as I heard Matua Nick say, by a real attention to the proficiencies. So I know Nick shared with you, and I'm sure Sal will share with you, our head of high school as well, that we can't build change makers unless they are confident, literate, numerate, unless they can read and write and count and communicate and bring people along with them. So there is a real focus on continuing to build on the beautiful job that our primary school teachers do, and building those essential skills and the essential knowledge. Then there is some amazing integration that happens. So I want to give you an example. This example also demonstrates the big focus in our program of learning being not only collaborative and building relationships and building those proficiencies, but also being as hands-on as possible. Because learners in the middle school, they love to do. They love to be out, they like to be active, they love connecting. And that looks different for everybody, but at the root of it is that they want to be doing things and experiencing things. So we have a subject called tuhura. Tuhura is a Māori word to describe investigating, digging up, finding out more. And this is our place for project-based learning. Our project this term has been looking at one of our foundational documents, in New Zealand, Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi, and the previous document to that, the Declaration of Independence. In exploring that, learners have been understanding our history, understanding that history is now, and understanding facts and the difference between discerning fact and from opinion. They then were asked the question, what do people need to know about Te Tiriti o Waitangi today? They broke into groups and have come up with projects which they are going to share with our community in the last week of term to educate them and share what they think is important for people to know about Te Tiriti o Waitangi. I'm so proud of this. I've been wanting to do this for so long, but a beautiful part of this is we will visit the Waitangi grounds in Northland. So that is a journey of about 8 hours from here. We're going to leave on a Monday morning and head up north. Part of that trip is also exploring and extending on our outdoor education curriculum in order for learners to really connect with the environment and want to be those change makers and those stewards of Papatuanuku, our land, our earth, Mother Earth. We really need to allow them to have opportunities to be in and experience nature. So this term in our outdoor education program, they've been focusing on snorkeling in the marine environment. And they have got the skills and the experience now where they're going to go snorkeling in a beautiful marine reserve up north. So that's part of the trip as well. All those experiences will come together and inform our project-based learning next term, which will be a project about the marine environment and also our science learning. Our maths learning is integrated there as well. They've been working out our budget and counting all those decimal places to figure out how much money we're going to spend on our food. And they'll be responsible for that shopping and the cooking as well. So all these things coming together to really provide that experience that speaks to the heart of what it is to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, those middle years. I'd love to hear from you in the chat. I see that we have got people from San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Charlottesville, North California, Torquay, Japan, La Paz, Bangkok, and people here in Aotearoa as well. I feel so honoured to be speaking to you. I would love to hear from you, your memory of your middle years, if you could share. What stands out to you? Was it an experience? Was it a person? Was it a place when you think of that time in your life where you were transitioning from childhood into adulthood? Thanks for sharing. I'll check in with those later. I'll just check I've covered everything. I think I've done pretty well there. I just want to also speak to you from the heart as a mum here at Green School New Zealand. So I always ask myself, would I want to do this? Would I want to do this? And often I have a resounding feeling of jealousy almost for some of the things that our learners are doing and wishing that I had that experience when I was their age. And you know, I have my taonga, my treasures, my most precious things in the world to me. My 3 children are here as learners also, and my heart is always filled when I see and I hear what they get to experience on a day-to-day basis. So let me see. Oh, thank you for your responses. I really, really appreciate you engaging with your middle years and going back into that time and space. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, come on campus, tap me on the shoulder, tell me that I promised you to tell a few more stories. Thank you so much for sharing. I see that choir was really important. those special people can sometimes be those ones that spark your passion at this time in your life. So thank you so much. When you see me on campus, I look forward to connecting, and obviously I wish you a lovely rest of your day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. I'm going to do a little transition again into something I feel really privileged to do, which is our diploma program, and leave you with the video from the diploma program, and you'll get to meet Mātua Sal, head of high school, after that. Kia ora koutou.
A green school education embodies the Wakatoki, Manaaki Whenua, Manaaki Tangata, Haere Mai, Wakamoa. Care for the land, care for the people, go forward. Green School New Zealand's High School Diploma Advanced is officially recognised by Universities New Zealand. Our learners have already been accepted to New Zealand all over the country, including the University of Canterbury, AUT, Auckland University of Technology, and the University of Waikato. Discover the joy of learning, embrace sustainability, and be part of a community that is redefining the high school experience.
Hello everyone, I'm back live. How are you? My name is Sal Gordan and I am the head of high school. Oh, I've got my hat on too. Now I've got hat here. I always get really excited about doing these things. Because I've been in the green school scene for about 12 years and passionate about education, passionate about being a change maker in education. And so, you know, I'm sold on this green school thing. But what I really like to do more than even be here is actually share it, and having opportunities like this where we share our school with you and bring a bit of green school into your life makes me happy, makes me really happy. As I said, my name is Sal Gordan. It's Sal. Sal is short, not for Salvador, but short for a long story. And I promise you, if you come to New Zealand one time, I can have that long story with you, but I'm not going to do it today. I've got other things to talk to you about. You know, I've been in education since I was 35. If you looked in the thing, I'm about 50 now, so I haven't been a teacher all of my life. I'm famous for getting out of university and taking a gap year in the late 90s and ending up spending a gap decade traveling around the world, upskilling myself, working in many, many different industries and areas and different countries, and getting to a point where I was confident in who I was and how I wanted to be of service on this planet, and it was through education. As I said, got into education probably 15 years ago. I've spent the last 11 and a half years in Bali, at Green School Bali, and that was definitely a life-changing experience. Quite an amazing experience. Yeah, to move to Bali as a teacher that wanted to be a part of something new and different, and to have an opportunity in Bali at Green School Bali to help build the program, help build our community, help build our campus, was such an awesome experience. My time in Bali was fantastic, but I knew it was definitely time for a new challenge. And so I moved to New Zealand and Green School New Zealand last October, and been having an amazing time here in New Zealand. I tell you, summer was a little bit late, but I tell you, this school, every day I come to work and I walk down the driveway and I'm amazed at how the natural beauty, I'm amazed at the people I work with, I'm amazed at New Zealanders in general, our learning program that's building. I love coming to work, and I don't know if many people around the planet actually say that too much. Yeah, that's really good. I'm getting a little bit of tech advice here at the same time. Look, before I tell you too much more about the high school program, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's a school related question, and it's probably sort of lends itself into you are getting an understanding of what I think is important in school. We know that knowledge-based education and information-based education is out the door. It needs to be. We need to focus a lot our attention as educators and what we teach and what our students learn, we need to focus on different things now. The world is changing really, really fast, and it has been for a while. But unfortunately, education, traditional education, standardized education, the education model that most schools function with around the world, dating back to an industrial revolution and a different time and a different future, we know that education needs to change. And one of the most important things that is changing and has changed in education is the concept of moving away from rote learning, moving away from memorization, senseless memorization of things that we all learnt at school that we've never used in our life, and moving towards skills-based and values-based learning. Now, lots of people like to call them life skills or 21st century skills. You know what I'm talking about: communication, critical thinking, creative thinking, those sorts of things. They're not 21st century skills. They're just human skills. They're skills that have been important to us through the evolution of the human species. Schools need to and are looking at how to be better at and how to be more explicit and impactful with skills and values-based learning. So with that in mind, because we know that it is skills, we know that it's skills like being able to learn, being able to be even resilient, to solve problems, to communicate, to collaborate, to think critically. Those are the skills of the future. It used to be the person in the room that was the smartest was the one that could remember the most information. But with technology and now, with the internet and now with AI, we need to move away from that in terms of what we provide learning experiences for our kids. So my question, what are the life skills that you want as parents, that you want your children to learn at school before they graduate high school? I want you to think about that, because I'm not asking you what subjects that we want them to pass. So I'm not asking you what sort of person, or even that. I'm actually, getting really deep down into your aspirations for your children in terms of the actual real needs for them in the future will be skills-based, will be their ability to communicate, to collaborate, to self-regulate, to critical think, leadership. I'm getting stuff in the chat here. Yeah. So as we go, and you've had a chance to hang out with Charlie and with Nick, and as I walk you through a little bit of our high school program, think about how skill-based learning might look in that. Resilience, masami, yeah, deep listening and knowing of themselves and others. So everyone here, supporting self-confidence. It's amazing. Yeah, everyone here today with us is probably on the same page then. Schools can be different. They can look different. They can act different. They can function and they can have different outcomes. But one of the outcomes that we want is highly skilled learners moving out into the future, working in teams, setting goals, getting the work done. Yeah, awesome. So just told you a little bit about me, a little bit about my career. I'll tell you what, life in Bali is a little bit more relaxed than the hectic pace of New Zealand when I look out the window here. Typical today in high school, I'll run you through a typical week in the high school. This week we started off with our senior students, 12 and 13, and all of the student council participating in a day-long leadership conference. That was in New Plymouth, and they were hanging out with a whole heap of other high school students from around New Plymouth. That was really cool. So leadership's very important to us. Yesterday we had a year 11s, 12s. So we're year 11s. I don't know if you can see me, but you actually can see a little bit of the ridge. So they've been doing the Kaitucky Range Traverse. And so they've done an overnight. I'm not sure. We're hoping that they'll get back soon. They just got back right now. So live, our grade 11s have just come back from not climbing the mountain, but traversing the Kaituckys, which is the range in front of it. Our students do amazing arts classes, thematics classes, social emotional classes all through the week. Today, for example, in year 12 and 13, I pulled the schedule and we went fully off schedule so that we could have a catch-up day and focus on their academics. And so we've been mentoring and tutoring our year 12 and 13 students through the day on academics. Kapahaka is something that we do, and amazing. We start every Friday with that. Lots of outdoor learning, lots of outside learning, lots of learning in and for nature. We're down at the river often. We're in the Tropo house, the greenhouse often. We've got a couple of classes that are in there. We're in the kitchen. And so students are growing food and cooking food here on site with us. There's a mix of integrated thematic style learning, experiential and projects, also with academics. We probably never have a typical week, and when something's always different and always new. Yesterday we have a lot of guests. So yesterday our guest in our Year 12 and 13 Health and PE class was a diversity expert, and she came in and gave us a presentation on diversity and inclusion in sports and events. And so it's very, very different and very, very alive and vibrant. And we bend like bamboo or we flex like flax here in New Zealand. And we're able to do that with a smaller community, with teachers that want to adapt and innovate on the spot sometimes. And it means that our students get a real world view of what life can be like outside. And we bring the outside world into our school as much as possible. I might just formalise this a little bit more, because a lot of people, when I talk about high school programs, and they don't think that when they look out the window and they look at our programs, they look at our videos, they think, project-based learning, experiential, outside learning, nature-based learning. They don't consider that academic learning is something that we do or do very well. That is not the case. Our academic program has to be strong. We believe that a sustainable future has good thinkers. It has critical thinkers. It has people that understand numbers. It has creative and innovative problem-solving scientists. Academic learning is something very important to us here. And so I'm actually the Year 12, 13 senior biology teacher and the maths teacher. And we're running those classes very similarly to any other school on the planet at this age. And I know I have to run them as a teacher. I can be innovative as much as possible, but we also, along with the projects and along with being outside and along with outdoor adventure, we haven't thrown away academic learning. We do it a little bit differently, but our academic learning program needs to and does stack up aligning with any other academic program on the planet. There's a nice comment. So academics. Check out the videos, but there's enough videos around, there's enough information around. Please don't think that if you're coming to Green School, you're doing that to subsidise away from an academic learning program. We believe that that's an important part of student learning here. That said, though, and I did mention it before, a lot of our program is different. And to say that we do academics differently, one way to describe that is looking at our academics through an integrated or a thematic lens. So sort of when I teach maths, I don't just teach pure maths. I'll teach maths with a little bit of art or a little bit of science or a little bit, I'll use real world data, I'll use ocean data, or we'll use food or nutrition. And so we try to integrate as much as possible. We break the cage of traditional education and move into a thematic realm of thinking. So because the real world doesn't exist in little silos. And in the real world, you don't go off to a maths class and the bell goes, and then do a history class and the bell goes, and a science class and the bell goes. In the real world, things are mixed up and integrated. And so a lot of our learning experiences are like that. We focus either on the oceans or on the mountain or pollution or social justice issues, race, diversity, inclusion, those sorts of things. And we can weave a lot of values-based and a lot of sustainability-based themes through all of our program, even our academics. So you think about our literacy classes, our literature Year 12, 13 literature classes, they'll be looking at social issues. They'll be looking at their own pathways as their current unit. They'll be looking at environmental issues. We'll integrate and we'll create thematic opportunities to learn as much as possible. And we'll do that with our academics, but we will do that with nearly everything here. I've talked a little bit about the skills and the values. We have, and I've been sort of trying to move forward with this for quite a while, 10 plus years, in terms of how we explicitly teach values or teach and learn values, how a school provides opportunities for students to think about a value like empathy, to understand what that is, to create an experience where they can feel and demonstrate that value, and then to reflect on it. We have developed our own values statement here. It's based on the I respect integrity, responsibility, equity, sustainability, peace, empathy, community, and trust, I respect, and values-based learning, just like skill-based learning, is really, really, really important to us and integrated and threaded through the majority of the program. We have an amazing outdoor ed program. I'm just going to get a time check. We're right still. We have an amazing outdoor ed program. I think it's something that's as unique and globally unique. And everyone knows New Zealand as a beautiful place. The natural beauty is stunning. And our high schoolers have so many amazing opportunities to learn in nature and learn for nature and to build those real life skills that we're talking about, whether that's resilience or critical thinking, collaboration, teamwork, those sorts of things. Like I said, our year 11s have just traversed the Kaitakis. Our year 13s at the start of the year, they summit Mount Taranaki, which is behind me as well. And so our outdoor ed program, they run the Duke of Edinburgh Award for years 10 and 11, but they're kayaking, caving, mountain biking, climbing mountains, trekking. They're doing all sorts of awesome things through our outdoor ed program. Another part of our program that's really cool is the entrepreneurial learning. Definitely, I think entrepreneurial mindset is a value or a mindset of the future too. Our students across the school, but in high school specifically, our students in year 12 do a Young Enterprise Scheme program for a whole year, and that's about innovative creating. They start their own new business through that program, and that leads into their Greenstone, which is our year 13 capstone project. And a lot of people, the best way to learn anything about green school is to look at the green stones. And so they're all on YouTube. They're amazing videos of students who have stood up into the community and presented like a TED talk about their passion and how their passion and the work that they've done in a project, a big, big passion project, how they've activated that passion and how they've made a difference with that passion too. So entrepreneurial learning, skills-based learning, values-based learning, project-based learning, outdoor education in nature and for nature. These are the things that stand us here in good stead, alongside also a really cool experiential thematic program and a really strong academic program. The arts is the other one. We never forget the arts. So currently, and we've just moved into this, our whole high school, which is only 32 students, so across years 10, 11, 12, 13, our whole high school do arts together. We've broken the age cage for arts program. And so we've got years 10, 11, 12, 13 students all doing their own elective arts. And so they can either choose into a visual art, a music art, a design technology art, or a food science art. And so our arts program's amazing. The teachers there are all world-class, all international school teachers that have been around the world and taught. And our students are not only sort of developing their artistic talent, but finding ways to express themselves artistically that can actually make a difference in the world too. So in general, we're talking about schools being different. We know that schools need to change for the future. Schools can't be the same as when we went to school, as us adults went to school. We know with this fast changing world, with Moore's law and technology changing, the environment is changing, our cultural norms are changing. We need to be doing something different for our kids. I think schools create the futures that we move into, and schools and education for too long have been in a little bit of a time capsule where they hasn't really kept a pace with education. That's not so at Green School. We are definitely breaking the mold. We're being as innovative as possible, but we're probably still a place that's learning. And I like to think of this place as a place that is perfectly imperfect. We're not trying to create the perfect school. I don't think that really exists, but we are trying to create something that's different, that's impactful, and that people share memories about for their whole life. Schools can be special places, and I think we've got one here. I think I've got to run off. I'll put my hat back on. I've got to run off and talk to people in person here. It's always really weird. I haven't done an online one for a while. I'm sure if you've got questions, there'll be ways for you to get into contact with us. I've had fun hanging out with you on screen, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to me and Charlie before me and Nick. And maybe I'll see you around in this beautiful place, New Zealand. Kia ora, everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Sal. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Sal. So I hope you enjoyed it. Well, I'm sure you enjoyed hearing to the whole leadership team. And obviously they've told you a bit more about their teams, and you can just see, yeah, you can see the passion and the innovation and what's happening. So just got a couple of videos now from 2 graduates, because people always come and say, you know, what happens when children finish here? As Sal said, you know, a lot of lessons the same, a lot new, innovative skills, going out into the real world. So what do the students choose to do? Some choose to go to university, some choose to take a gap year, some choose to go into trades, just like any other school. But the different pathways are there, and we encourage each student. So we've got 2 graduate videos that we're going to share with you now.
My name is Jacob Henderson, and I graduated from Green School Taranaki in 2023. The best thing about Green School would probably be the more outdoor and hands-on curriculum. I think it just set me on my path, introducing me more to my environment, and now I'm a diver. I'm doing a diploma in environmental management. It's very hands-on. Projects are always surveys, and they're not stuck in a classroom all the time. I just love diving. It's an entirely different environment, completely different world. There's always something new to look at, even if you dive in the same spot. I'm kind of aiming at the moment towards tech diving. It just looks adventurous to me. It's just going really deep, and there's something about it that just kind of intrigues me. Green School's really set me up and got me ready for life out of high school. I loved it. I think it was just the support we got at Green School. All the teachers would always support you. You could do the most out there thing and they would still support you. They would always just take you all the way as far as they could. And I think that just kind of motivated me to do something I enjoyed, and it's just a vibe.
My name is William Perrett. I was at Green School Bali for 2.5 years and Green School New Zealand for 5. My time at Green School, learning about sustainability and climate change really drove me to continue to university where I am here today. The climate change degree here at Waikato University is one of only a couple in the world. It's very new and very fresh and exciting.
The Bachelor of Climate Change is a multidisciplinary degree in which we teach from the most basic principles of climate change all the way to finding appropriate scientific and cultural solutions to the world's most pressing problems.
Primary school was very rough. I wanted nothing to do with it. My future was drop out of school, but moving into high school, my family packed up and ended up leaving to go to Green School Bali, which was just phenomenal. We loved Green School Bali so much that we had to come home to attend Green School New Zealand, and it has changed my life for the better. Green School really allowed me to thrive and come out of my shell and realise who I am and what I'm capable of. 100% really guided me. I love uni. I was nervous, but it's great fun. I'm a social butterfly, so I love having heaps of people around me. It's like one big family. The Green School students that I've seen graduate, everyone's completely different. You want to do at the end of the day is all up to you, but Green School helps get you where you want to be. The world's your oyster.
So yeah, 2 of our graduates. First of all, just a little pause. So big thanks for sticking with us. Like, we've been going for an hour and a half, which is big, but it's engaging and it really shows what a great range of information we've got. And it's great to have everyone sitting forward and jumping into the chat with us. So just a rundown, we've got about 3 more videos to get through, and then we can have some Q&A just in the chat after that. So just have a think if you've got any questions as we go through. And yeah, so far you've heard about the unique setting, our destination school, heard from the founders, the why, all of the curriculum and the leaders there, and then a couple of graduates. So now what about the parents? Because I know most of you have parents. It's a big move, right? So it's the whole family who moves to New Zealand or who moves to Taranaki if you're moving from another part of New Zealand. So what does that look like? So we always say it's green school for the family, so green school for the parents as well. We have the bridge, which is run by the parents for the parents, and we have different community activities there. One of our new parents just the other day said to me, he came here looking for nature. They moved from the middle of New York, came here looking for nature, but he found his family. So I've kept hold of that quote because I thought that just kind of summed it all up. Because often the parents will drop off and then they have that time in this kind of environment where they can go and just explore the outdoors. There's really good community of people working online from around the world. A really interesting mix of parents that come together. So we've interviewed a couple of parents, and we've got the video here. Obviously the video's staged, but the answers aren't. So they've put their hands up and volunteered and come in to share.
So our family learned about Green School, learned about the opportunity, and set our wheels in motion in a very short period of time. We were so excited. And it came to us through my brother. My brother's family had visited New Zealand several times and wanted to have an overseas experience. Showed up, toured Green School, were just thrilled and called to tell us about it. At home in the States where we're from, they live in California and we're on the opposite coast outside of New York City. And so they called to tell us about what they planned to do. And a week later, I called my brother and said, how would you feel if we also came to New Zealand? And then we got started. And just 4 months later, we were here setting foot in New Zealand for the very first time. We learned about it, the more it felt like exactly the right fit for our family and the kind of experience we were seeking and had not yet been able to put together ourselves. And so it really felt like it came to us at just the right time, even though we kind of had to make our plans and fast forward once we decided to commit.
So you've relocated the whole family. You have 3 children, right?
Yes.
In 4 months.
Yes.
Wow. So it's possible.
It is absolutely possible. It is a lot, and it is hard work, and it is 100% worth it. I mean, we genuinely feel that every day. Even the things once you're here, once you get through the dealing with your belongings and are you renting your house and making sure your visa stuff is worked out. All of that was easier than I thought it would be. And then we got here and even the adjustment from this little period, all 3 of my kids and everyone in our family have never wavered from feeling like it was a worthwhile adventure, even when it was challenging.
So we move on to running. What have you got to say about this? Do you agree with Mom or?
Yeah, we very environmental school. It's very much focused on that. It has an amazing campus with a swimming hole and a river.
Classes that you wouldn't have access to at home in our school district states, and that's the exciting
we wouldn't have design tech, we wouldn't have cooking, we definitely wouldn't have hikoi. There are a lot of also different elements in hikoi, like for example rat trapping and mountain biking, and it was a bunch of new experiences.
Wow.
A lot of new experiences. The second day he came home from school, he said this is the greatest school of all time.
Well, like you heard about Green School, because it's a big move to come all the way from the UK to New Zealand just because, I heard about Green School.
Well, funny, so I did hear exactly about Green School New Zealand, not Green School Bali. I didn't even know Green School Bali existed. I found out about Green School New Zealand through a homeschool community that we were part of in the UK because I was homeschooling Emily. So we found out about it through that. And one night my husband just went, right, that's it, we're moving. We are going to make this happen. And it took us about a year to do that, and it was just a real kind of impromptu moment, kind of going, this is where we know we need to be.
Okay. But at the time, obviously, Green School was just growing, right? And now it's there. So, wow.
Yes.
And what about you, Lily? Tell us your journey in Green School and maybe share one of your best memories. What comes to your mind? And maybe Green School in 3 words.
I think my best memories of Green School is probably all the projects we get to do. By doing these projects, we get to really have a look into the world without being fully in the real world. So that helps us develop what we want to do when we leave. I don't know what I would have done without Quest and now Greenstone. It's really helping us pave that way of universities or travel or whatever you want to do. I'd say Green School in 3 words. Connection, empathy, because we all support each other, and discovery.
Thanks. So just from a couple of our parents there. Also saw Valerie, who's part of our admissions team. So we have a whole team for admissions. So we have Val, who if you begin the process, she'll work you through and take you through all of the process in terms of the forms and the visa and all of that part. And once you've then got through that, we then have a team who's like, okay, you're now coming to New Zealand. We'll help you find the rentals. We'll help you with the sports club. We'll put you in touch with parents, all of that side. So it's really important. And we do have a good ongoing program for new families because it's easy to land and have the honeymoon period. And then it's like, okay, now we're into week 6 or week 7 and into the routine. So we have ongoing events. For example, tonight, the new families are camping down by the river here. And we're just running a kind of check-in session for the children, having a barbecue and some s'mores on the fire and just connecting to just see where everyone's at. So yeah, the process is actually quite easy. We're the only school in New Zealand that can get 2 guardian visas. So that means that the whole family can come, which is great. There was someone said, can we only stay a year? Actually, you can stay as long as the visa is. So you get a year-long visa. If you pay a year-long fees, you get a year-long visa. One of our parents pays 3 years, so he gets his 3-year visa. You can stay as long as the student stays in New Zealand. And even actually then they get the student visa through into university and you can stay on that. And while you're on a guardian visa, you can actually work during school hours here if you are coming from overseas. And forever changing in terms of visas and allowing that. But like I say, we've got a lot of people who work online back overseas and they seem to balance things out. So now we're going to move on. So what about the families who can't come? So it's like secondary students, sometimes we get inquiries. They want to come down. They want to do the diploma. They want to be here. So we're literally just now launching our homestay program. So we've got Green School families and families from outside of Green School, and we've hired Tef, who is our homestay coordinator. And that means that students who are in high school can come down and they can live with a family here during term time. They can stay as long as they like, really, from year 7 through. So we've launched that, so that just opens up the opportunities for others. We have a graduate student who's just spent some time with 2 of our families, and they kindly shot a quick video together. So we'll just flick through and show you that. So a really quick taster. So that's Finn, who's joined us. He's actually graduated from Green School. And then he's doing some work just because he's going into entrepreneurship and he's working. So he's staying with a couple of the families. We had Richie last year who also graduated, and he stayed with the local family here as well. And now we've formalized the program. We have Tef running that. So if that's of interest to anybody, we also have that option. And now just moving on to the last little part. So we have that, right, okay, looks amazing, amazing backdrop, heard all about the curriculum. As a family, we'd just like a taster. So what does that look like? So we've actually also launched Green Camps, so Green Camps New Zealand. So we run camps, family camps, camps for international schools. So international schools can come in for a week, or schools from overseas, so they can come in for a week and they get to camp down here, do activities. And we feel that really enriches it for our students here as well, because they get to interact with people coming from around the world, get to know them briefly, and then then they go back out and within the environment. And some camps for individual students who would come together and be here. So we've launched that. The Green Camp for Families is a great taster. So you get to come in just for a couple of days, see the environment, get to see what's happening. We have one coming up in April in our last week of term. So we do them during term time so you can actually see the school in action rather than during the holiday time and there's not the action happening, and just get to chat and interact with people. So we've ran quite a successful one just in January. So we've got a video there, which we'll share with you. And then we're going to move on to Q&A.
Kia ora, and welcome to Green Camp New Zealand, nestled in the breathtaking landscape of Taranaki. Here, adventure, learning, and a deep connection with nature converge to create an unforgettable experience. At Green Camp New Zealand, we celebrate curiosity, creativity, and sustainability. Our inspiring activities are designed to deepen your bond with the environment, foster lasting friendships, and create memories that will last a lifetime. Imagine cooking over an open campfire, embarking on guided nature walks through lush forests, and staying in eco-friendly accommodations that harmonise with the natural world. As night falls, gaze up at the starlit sky. Our dedicated camp facilitators are here to guide you through this journey, ensuring a safe, educational, cultural, and exhilarating experience for all adventurers. Are you ready to embark on this adventure? Join us at Green Camp New Zealand, where the spirit of exploration meets the heart of nature.
To have some new programs, that is a fantastic opportunity to come and have a taster. That last shot, that's actually down, that's our swimming hole, so that's down by the river, and the outdoor classroom that Nick spoke about earlier, where the primary go and spend their days down there. Yeah, like I say, new families tonight. The weather's perfect, so we're going to go down there for a barbecue and a catch-up. Last bit that I was asked to share, we do really take care of people coming in. There is... We also have, sorry, I was getting a little note in the background. So a reminder, I have to tell you about Linktree. So one of our parents shared about, have created a Linktree. So as you come in, you can actually access it from our website, or as new parents, that'll be sent to you. So that's got everything on it in the outside community. So accommodation, sports that you can then go to, cultural events, everything that's happening. And New Plymouth as a place has so much happening. You just have to look up WOMAD, Matatini, the American cars, all that's happened lately. The council worked very hard here. So it's a good place to live as a family as well. Right, so thank you for your time. Thank you for your time this afternoon. It has been an absolute pleasure hosting you. Like I say, I'd love to see you in person. Don't think that you have to book your tours on campus only on Friday. We welcome people anytime during the week. Come and see us. So I'm just going to open up now. School homes do you have? So I'm just going to open up now to any questions. If you drop them in the chat, and I'll try and keep up with those. We've also recorded this, so we'll put it on YouTube to share back through. I'm going to ask Soon to come back and join us. So we also have a student in case there's some questions that I'm a little bit stuck on. And she's obviously been, are you on there? That's good. Yeah. And we'll be able to close for us afterwards. So what about green school homes? We don't have green school homes at the moment. We've got one that we can rent at the top, but Olakura is just down here, which is a fantastic village. It's 5 minutes from here. It's right on the beach. It's a real community feel village where the children can go home, jump on their bikes and be out and about and go in and out of the Neighbours, and it's a surf beach as well. It's a great community. So that's where I'd say the majority of our families live, and quite a few in New Plymouth as well. So there's always, like I say, we have Kate and we have the team who then help steer you in direction of different rentals. So can a new student begin mid-year or mid-term? Yes, so our main intakes are January at the start of the year and July because of the Northern Hemisphere. We actually have a 3-week holiday in July just because we have so many Northern Hemisphere families. So that allows them to get home and come back. So that's really important to us. And so we always have that big intake in July of Northern Hemisphere families coming. They want to finish, and that works. You can, July to July, you still get the 4 terms and the different experiences as well. What's the average class size in primary at the moment? So the 2 younger classes both have 14. The middle class has 8, and the year 5 and 6s have 12. What do you love about Green School? It's good. There's a question for you.
I really like the smaller class sizes because I feel like I can build a better one-on-one relationship with the teachers, and I feel like they understand me better and meet my needs and how I learn and things like that. So, yeah, I'd say the smaller class sizes because I did come from a traditional school in America where it's 30 plus students in one class and one teacher up at the front, and you can't really get one-on-one help from them unless you book office hours, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But here at Green School, it's really easy to have one-on-one conversations with teachers and to get the support you need. So yeah.
What do you think about this one? Because we often get this. It's like, how do you transition back to a normal school? And I always find that quite, because schools are so diverse, and we're really about transferable skills so that children can, or students, young adults can go on to other places. Like you interact with the other schools through sports, culture, and music. How do you feel amongst your peers?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, Green School has provided a lot of opportunities for me to make connections with other schools through sports. So I'm part of the Green School netball team, and every Saturday we play against all different schools. And also through curriculum, like just on Monday, we attended a leadership conference, or it was called GRIP Leadership Conference, and that was including schools from all over the region, and we got to interact with them, have conversations, all for a shared purpose. And then as far as a normal school curriculum, Green School is really flexible that they meet your needs. So for me, because I'm interested in going to university back in the States, they've been helping me with SAT studying and making sure that I'm taking all the right classes for uni acceptance. So it's really a good system.
Because you've had to catch up, you've had to do the higher maths as well, right?
Yeah.
So we can provide all of that, and there's no way that a student has to repeat, because our curriculum, we've talked about academic rigor is really important to us, as Charlie spoke about. It's our reading program. We actually have a woman out of the States who was consulting with us, so we developed our own maths curriculum. We found that to make it more challenging, to be honest, and the scope and sequence to go through. We track all the reading as normal. It's just a question about assessment, so it depends on the stage. So you still have some tests?
Yeah, so I think it depends on what year level you are, but as a high school student, we have some internal assessments. So those are assignments that are assessed by your teacher. However, per semester, we do have external exams, but they're not really exams where you sit down and you tick off the multiple choice and things like that. They're assignments that are assessed by the teacher, but they're also sent off to an external assessor who has a look at them and grade them accordingly.
Yeah, because as Sar would have said, our advanced diploma has been accepted by universities in New Zealand, and because we're NEASC accredited, that works into the States and SAT preparation. So we're held to account for standards as well. Next week we get inspected by the ministry in New Zealand to make sure that we're doing everything that we're saying we're doing in policy, and that we're getting learners ready for the real world. Definitely transferable skills and ready for the world out there. I'm just reading as we go down. Yes, they would. Yep. So someone's just asked if they would continue on, if they went back into the family, that they could go in there. So we just had our results for the NCEAs for level 2, and 100% of all our students. So there's only 5 schools in New Zealand, so we have an equivalence, so that our science program has to meet that. And so there's 4 or 5. We're about to share it on LinkedIn, so we're so excited about it. And 100% of our learners all reach that level 2 or higher. Do you accept non-English speaking students at campus, or better said, English as second language? Yeah, because we're diverse. We have 50% students from overseas, so we have quite a few bilingual students as well. There is a minimum standard that you have to meet, that you'd come in and you'd be interviewed and meet with the head of whichever learning neighbourhood that is, and then we can help and put some things in place as well if needed. Any other questions on the side there? If not, it's okay. That's fine. We can still have time. You can just fire those through to admissions and we can answer those there. But if no other questions, we have recorded this so we can pop it back up on YouTube. Hang on. Yes, agreed. It is a great place to be, both as a student and I think as adults, teachers enjoy coming here. Do you typically have more requests for enrollment? So we're actually enrolling some. We actually had some people enroll for 2027 over the last 3 weeks. We've had about 3 families. So yeah, it's growing and growing fast. With this year we've split, so we've got 2 year 1 and 2 classes. So we have places now, but it is definitely growing. Is there a limited? Yes. So we have a limit in terms of class sizes, and we have a limit in terms of size of the campus. Looking forward to visiting June. Amazing. Thank you, Erin and Matt. We look forward to welcoming you. Sam's just dropped in there on the chat the emails that you can contact us with. As I say, if you're in the region, pop in, come and see us in person. If you're passing through, come and see us. If in New Zealand, if you're coming from overseas, Green Camp's great way to do a taster. Stop in, book a day. Like I say, it doesn't just have to be Friday afternoons. Come in any time. But thanks again for your time. Fantastic that fantastic that you could give that time to us and that you've enjoyed listening to everything. So I'm just going to ask Xuan to close for us. And then I'll let you enjoy your Friday afternoon or maybe Friday morning or maybe Thursday night, wherever you are. And hopefully the weather is as good where you are as it is here today.
Cool. I'll just end with the same karakia that I opened up with. So, wakataka te ao ki te uru, wakataka te ao ki te tonga, kia mā kine kine ki uta, kia mā tara tara ki tai, e hia ke ana te atakura, e tio, e huka, e hohu, tihei moriora.
Thank you. Thanks, Xuan. Thanks, everybody. So enjoy your afternoon and thank you for all the nice comments. And hopefully we'll see you all in person at some stage. Bye.